Welcome along to another episode of Rob and Elliott Tonight here on NVTV. What a lineup we have for you this week. I'll be chatting to Countdown star Rachel Riley. Strictly Superstar Giovanni is going to be with us. We'll have some brand new music from singer-songwriter Conleth Kane, and also the cast of Romeo and Juliet will be joining us in the studio. But to begin with, we're going to find out about this year's Red Dress Fun Run from Northern Ireland at Chest, Heart and Stroke. Before we find out all the details, here's what happened last year. So it's nearly that time of year again for the Red Dress Run from Northern Ireland at Chest, Heart and Stroke. The big day is the 26th of February this year, and to find out more, I'm pleased to say that Tara from the charity joins us in the studio now. So tell us about the Red Dress Run then. It's kind of Northern Ireland Chest, Heart and Stroke. It's a kind of flagship event every year, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's our flagship event. It happens once a year. February is Heart Month, so it's a prime time to do it. It is on, as you said, the 26th of February. It happens at Stormont, so it's a 5k walk, run or wheel, dance, skip, whatever we say, because it's an all-inclusive event. It is not a competitive event. You're not running your PB, although if you really fancy it, we'll let you out first. The purpose is coming along and just having fun. All ages, all generations are welcome. I took part last year with my wee boy in his pram. He was only 6 months old. We have people in wheelchairs that have taken part before. It is accessible. And we just don't want there to be any barriers or reasons why people wouldn't take part. We're lucky that it is supported by Mace, and this year for the first time Musgrave Marketplace are on board as well, and we have product sponsors Blue Hair and Linwood, so without them we couldn't make the event happen. But it is just about having fun. Dogs can come, that's a massive plus for so a lot of our races. You can't bring your pets obviously, yes, so people go mad for being allowed to bring their dogs. So it's a fantastic event. People run it for all sorts of reasons. We have bibs actually that say I'm running for, I'm walking for, I'm wheeling for. A lot of people do it in memory of loved ones. Other people do it because they have a loved one who has survived a heart attack or a stroke and they want to give back, or they want to fund research to eliminate all these illnesses in Northern Ireland.
And of course, once they complete it, they get one of these, don't they?
Yes,
they get a little medal, which is just fabulous, isn't it? Yes,
bespoke commemorative medal. So if you raise £50 per person, you get a medal. And for a family, if you raise a total of £100, as I said, it is a fundraising event. Last year we raised an incredible £50,000, and we had over 500 people at Stormont and almost 600 people in total. I forgot to mention the other way that you can take part is virtually. In 2021 we couldn't do the event at Stormont, but we had an incredible engagement, and we had I think about over 300 people did it in 2021, all in their local communities, which was something really special about that too. So if you can't make the date, the 26th of February, just do 5k. We say do 5k your way any day in February. Wow. That could be 5k in one day out in your local park, or perhaps 5k is a big challenge for you. It might just be, I'm going to break this up into 1k this over the 4 weekends or something like that.
Now you're also looking for primary schools to get involved as well, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. Last year we introduced the primary schools Red Dress Fun Run element. Basically, again, February is Heart Month, and we know that lots of schools in Northern Ireland do the Daily Mile, so we have an ask out to primary schools to get on board and to simply dedicate one of your daily miles in February, dress red, have a laugh and go out in the playground and do your daily mile as normal, but maybe every child brings in £1. And last year we had 6 schools take part. Ralph's School was one of them, and this year we're aiming for at least 12 schools, so you can sign up to that on our website as well.
Let's bring Ralph in now. You're the principal of Andrews Memorial Primary School. Tell us why you got involved with Northern Ireland Chest, Heart and Stroke then.
Well, I had a heart attack back in April 2020, just at the time of the first lockdown. And I suppose one of the big messages after you have a heart attack and get to terms with that, come to terms with it, and you're in the kind of recovery phase, the big message is you've got to get up and keep on the move. And so I was doing lots of walking, I was trying to move around, got myself moving around. And of course everybody else was out walking, so you didn't feel in any way strange wandering around the streets at that time. And then I started to run, really because I thought, well, if a run makes me feel a little bit more like real exercise, and I don't mean that this walking in any sense, because walking's been fantastic. And I happened to see a poster in Cumber for the Red Dress Run. I had heard of it, but I'd never been involved with it, and thought, well, look, that's a bit of an aim I can go for. And I decided to. It was a virtual one, as Tara says. I decided to run 10k. I'd kind of got myself up to the 5k thing, wow. So it was a good target, and I did it with 2 of my sons and a friend. And I did that myself, and we raised some money. And then, very, very coincidentally, last year was the 75th anniversary of the charity. And there's opportunity for schools to get involved. So we did, and we do the Daily Mile, as Tara said. Lots and lots of schools do it. And the joy is it doesn't matter whether you walk, you run, you chat, you whatever. We did a bit of dancing in between. The teachers all got on board, and we had great fun. And then I sort of took it to the next level and did the half marathon back in September. So it's kind of been a personal journey, but also involving the school, 370 odd kids to help you, plus the teachers and the parents, and it's a bit of crack.
So you're encouraging primary schools all over Northern Ireland to get involved then?
Absolutely, it's really easy. It involves basically registering, which everybody can do that, and putting on something red or a red dress or whatever you want, and get it out and doing it. 15 minutes a day. I mean, it's not everybody can do that, and a little bit of money raised along the way makes a difference. And
the money, Tara, is so important to keep the charity going throughout the year, and all the activities and things that you have going, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's over 335,000 people in Northern Ireland living with a chest, heart or stroke condition, and we are committed. We've been around for 75 years, and we're still as committed then as we are now to helping those people. And the Red Dress Run specifically is all around heart disease and raising awareness of heart disease and raising money to put into research around heart disease. For people in Northern Ireland sadly die every day from heart disease, and coronary heart disease is the single biggest cause of premature death of under 75-year-olds in Northern Ireland. So these are big stats. And they're happening with our local people, our families, our friends. So as I said, last year we raised £50,000. This year we're hoping to raise the bar and increase that again. But a huge point to make is that 90% of our services are solely because of public donations. Yeah. That's huge. So
one of the great services you do provide is the health checks as well, which are so helpful and useful for people, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. We have the health checks. We do a full big health check. I actually got one myself before Christmas. It checks for atrial fibrillation, your blood pressure, cholesterol levels. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic service that we can offer to the public. And at the event, we're actually going to have short versions of that. We're going to have where people can go and get their blood pressure and the atrial fibrillation check, because these two things combined, if you notice that there's an issue there, that is huge for your own awareness to check with your GP, is something else going on here. So we want to offer that opportunity for a free health check at the end of the race, walk, run.
Brilliant. If people want to sign up, how do they do that?
To our website, nishs.org.uk/Red Dress Fun Run. If you go on our website as well, the homepage banner there is all about Red Dress. Simple sign up form, and if you sign up now, it is £15. Under 18s go free, and if you go onto the website, you'll also see there's some other people over 65s, and students can also get free discount codes. Yeah. As I said, we want to open it. We don't want there to be any barrier for someone not to take part.
I'll be there myself. I'm looking forward to starting the race on the day as well.
Yes, of course.
So that's the 26th of February. Put it in your diary, guys. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, did you know that the average person sits on almost £300,000 worth of assets, but half of us don't track the value of anything that we own? To talk about this further, I'm pleased to say that Countdown star Rachel Riley joins us on the line. So Rachel, welcome to the show. To begin with, 2023 has been a great year so far for you. Congratulations on the MBE.
Thank you very much. Yeah, big surprise, but definitely a mega proud moment. And I'll be taking my mum to whichever palace I get invited to when the time comes.
Now, you're getting the MBE for promoting education towards the Holocaust, aren't you?
Yeah, services to Holocaust education from the Department of Levelling Up. I think, more broadly, it's for fighting anti-Semitism, which I think is the key point of Holocaust education, is to see what happens when people stay silent, and to learn lessons from that. I've been really embraced by the Jewish community, and to think that someone actually, went to the trouble of nominating me for this process, which I think is quite an in-depth thing, and then, the palace decided it was a good idea. It really means a lot.
So today we're talking about some of the hidden treasures that we have around the house, and some people don't actually know how much they're worth, especially when it comes to their car, don't they?
Yeah, so I've been working with Motorway, and they have launched their car value tracker, because on average, the average Brit has about 300 grand in assets, but about half of us don't track any of them. And for 9 million Brits, the car is their most prized, most valuable asset. But again, another half don't actually realise that in the last couple of years, the price of used cars in many cases has actually gone up. So their tracker now, you can go onto their website and you can enter your reg details, and it will give you not just the current valuation of the car, but it will give you over the last 24 months, based on thousands of data points from the cars that have been sold through their platform. They see what the value was, so you can see what the trend is. So if you're thinking of potentially selling your car, you can see when might be a good opportune moment to get the most from it. And for example, the Ford Fiesta went up 50% in its value over 2021, due to things like, shortages in microchips and long wait times and the pandemic, etc. So, for the first time, you're not just driving your car out, losing money and continuing to lose money. You might actually be gaining some money on your used car asset. So it's worth, having a look. And seeing, knowledge is power, and doing what you want to do with that information. It was quite interesting looking at our cars. Like last year we sold our diesel, because at the time we bought it, it was supposed to be a green option, and obviously it's not. So we got rid of that with legislation changes, and that's been kind of slowly decreasing. So we sold it at a good time, and we got an electric vehicle. And if you look at the electric vehicle, the price over the same period is quite a lot more spiky. So it's quite a lot more dependent on things in the news, whether it's the price of energy or particular news articles, which I found quite interesting. So it's very interesting to see, and different models, as I say, have different values based on supply and demand.
And would you encourage people to go for an electric car then?
Well, we love it. It really works for us. We're lucky to have a driveway, so we just plug it in at home. We don't even have a proper charger. We just use a 3-point pin. And I live in London and commute up to Manchester to film Countdown. And I just say to the car, find me a fast charger, a charging station wherever I need to charge. And it, I pick the one I want and I go there. And, it tells me how much range I've got, tells me how much I'll have when I get there. And all these questions that you have before you drive an electric vehicle, they're answered when you drive it. So it really suits our lifestyle. And it's going to save us a lot of money than having a diesel car, obviously.
And are you someone who's always been very good at looking after your finances?
I think it goes through periods. I think, at times in your life when you have children, you kind of just keep your head above water and you just keep them alive for a little while. And now it's it's January, the kids are fine, I've got a bit of time, just need to sort my finances out. And I think a lot of people have just, we've got through Christmas, and now January is that perfect time to just sit down, do the numbers, get a spreadsheet. And with so many things, it's so complicated to work out the value, but with this, it's just so easy. All the work's done for you. All you need to know is your reg number.
We've got to talk about Countdown. It seems like the ultimate dream job, is it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I used to watch it as a kid after school with my little brother, and it's been over 14 years now that I've been doing that. It's a brilliant team. And recently we've had Colin Murray hosting, who just absolutely loves the show. He's like living and breathing Countdown geek. So between me, Susie and Colin, it's been loads of fun. And currently we've got our Champion of Champions series at the moment. So we've got the best of the best from the last 5 years of Countdown Champions playing against each other. And the final will be a week on Friday. And just the quality of the games is just outstanding. Like, they're beating Susie in Dictionary Corner with words that none of us have ever heard of before. It's so much fun. It's really good to watch.
Now, is it true that you were always into numbers, but when it came to the TV presenting side, it wasn't something that you had an ambition of doing?
Yeah, entirely. I mean, I was a maths geek, so I did 2 A levels in maths, and then I did a maths degree, masters in maths. And I just watched the game, watched the show after school, like I said, but didn't ever think that there was a job. I remember when I was younger and saying I like maths, and this woman said, "Oh, well, are you going to be Carol Vorderman?" That's not a job, and I'm not Carol Vorderman, but I am me, and I'm doing that role, and I absolutely love it. So I'm really lucky that I get to play number puzzles, which I do in my spare time for fun, and get paid for it. It's a real. I'm laughing, really. It's a joke.
And because Carol had done the show from the beginning, was there a lot of pressure on you?
Well, I think I'm the type of person I put pressure on myself. So, I mean, I love the numbers game, and I got my job because I could do the numbers game under pressure. But then, even doing it in a screen test is different to doing it in 15 shows in a 3-day filming block, and knowing where the cameras are and who's looking at you and what's going on. And I'm so grateful that I got to cut my teeth before social media was around, because I wouldn't fancy doing it now. It'd be brutal. But I remember at the time I just had the great team around me that just fed me bits of information I needed to know, kept everything away from me, and all I did was practice in the numbers game and hope that the presenting stuff came later, because I think that's something you learn on the job, something you pick up as you go. And thankfully the great team around me, and working with Jeff Stelling from Soccer Saturday at the time, who'd been, a veteran broadcaster, should I say, 20 odd years live telly, 6 hours every Saturday with stats and all sorts of information he needs at the tip of his tongue. I couldn't have been with a better person to start with. So yeah, very, very happy, really enjoy my job.
Now we've got Giovanni from Strictly coming on later. You've done Strictly. Did you find it a good experience?
Well, I mean, I met my husband there, and we've got 2 children now, so I can't say no. He got me great birthday presents. So it was fun. I mean, it was hard work, but it was great. It was great fun to do the dancing. And now, before the pandemic, when we go traveling, we'd find a salsa club somewhere around the world where people wouldn't recognize us, and he can dance and I can flail around beside him, which is loads of fun.
Now, talking about traveling, any plans for a holiday this year?
We actually just got back. We went for a week in Bulgaria with the girls and with my husband's brother and his girlfriend. So it was we were trying to aim for snow, and there was no snow because it's so hot around Europe, scarily hot. But it was just a lovely break and some nice Bulgarian food, and it was really nice to actually be somewhere that felt foreign, because they used the Cyrillic alphabet and all the shops are independent shops. It's like you saw like 1 or 2 chains everywhere. So really enjoyed that, and I like traveling and eating different food, and we definitely did a lot of that.
Brilliant. Well, Rachel, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks, Robin.
Okay, we're having too much fun in the studio today, but we're going to talk about Romeo and Juliet, a brand new production which is running at the Lyric Theatre. I'm pleased to say that 3 of the cast members join us now in the studio. So welcome to Rosie and to Patrick and to Mary as well. Guys, tell us about Romeo and Juliet. How's it all going so far?
It's going brilliant. We're having a fab time. We're at the start of week 4 now, which is great. Yeah, we're just all having an absolute ball. We're part of a cast of 16, which is insane. Very, very rarely happens in Northern Ireland to be in a cast of that size, and we're just taking it all in and enjoying everything. And luckily, everyone's lovely.
Yeah.
Apart from
that helps, doesn't it? It does help. You 2 are married in the show, aren't you?
Yes.
We are indeed, yeah. Lord and Lady Capulet, Juliet's mum and dad. So. Yeah, and we're the idea, the whole premise is that it's set between 2 feuding families that are 2 fashion house powers, aren't they? Yeah. Yourself and Mary plays Lady Montague. And yeah, it just picks up, and that's basically the premise of the battle between those 2.
So the amazing thing, Mary, it's brought right up to modern day, isn't it? 2022,
Yeah.
and of course the whole fashion thing going on. It must be fabulous to
Oh, the costumes are going to be insane. The set's going to be insane. Everyone's going to look class. You know, a 10-year-old could come and see this and we think that they would completely understand what's going on. You know, it's just how it feels as if it's just basic storytelling when people have a fear of Shakespeare, you know, and audiences do. And by no means, I don't think that is going to come across
done
for
an
this.
amazing job of the adaptation of it. It's just so accessible to hopefully everyone from young to old. And
is a teacher of sort of 16-year-olds, boys really, wasn't she? Was it the school she worked in? So her idea was to try and break it down that essentially, you know, people that aren't au fait with Shakespeare or maybe completely against going to see it or wanting to have anything to do with it will come and just understand the story. And also because we're obviously still using, you know, all Shakespeare's text, it will still be a great show for people that are into Shakespeare as well. So we're really sort of trying to strike that balance, and I think Anne's done it fantastically well.
do. So talking about Shakespeare, I mean, were you a fan at school, or is this something you've learned as you've done your acting stuff over the years?
School, probably not. I would have been like most kids, I think, and found it extremely difficult. And a lot of that's probably to do with the teaching. If I had a teacher like Anne, it maybe would have been a lot easier, and I could have been into it a lot sooner. But then in your 20s, and when you sort of you start to maybe do shows and things like that, you do develop a different relationship with it. This has definitely been one of the nicest ones to do, in the sense of the pressure was just lifted off us by not only Philip, but because of Anne's edit, and then also having Michael and working with us, and our assistant director Emma Copeland as well. Is their knowledge of Shakespeare is just magnificent. So once you get sort of past the certain phrases or words that you maybe are like, what does this mean, and how do we, and once you know that, it's lovely. And one of those things that I always with Shakespeare was like, he takes like 20 lines to say essentially one thing. But what Michael sort of instructed us with that is that, you know, within that speech there are these beautiful clauses that really, even though you could say the first line and the last line, and the impact, the message or whatever you're trying to get across will be there, these clauses just add such detail and layering to it, and colour, and the work's done. As actors, like, you know, as long as we're vocally portraying it and we're in it, that Shakespeare just takes all the work out for you. You know, he's done it.
And Rosie, I think it's good as well that we haven't seen Romeo and Juliet in Belfast in quite some time now as well, have we?
It's been a really long time, hasn't
25. Did someone say 25?
25
It was 15 years the last time we did a Shakespeare in the lyric.
Really?
11 years.
11 years, is it just?
15 or 11. The last one was the Scottish play that was done in the lyric. Yeah.
Okay, so it might be 11.
Oh gosh,
sure.
that was a
It was a long
time
time ago. And Romeo and Juliet, I don't even know when the last time really there was a production.
I think the last time I even seen it, I was probably about 14, and it was an all-male cast in Newry Town Hall, and it was a travelling company that come over, and I was like that. But yeah, that's the last time I've seen Romeo and Juliet on stage. So to be part of it's just incredible. I'm a huge Shakespeare fan, I really, really am, and have always loved it from we studied it in school to through Queen's and all the rest of it. So to get a chance to actually go back into it and feel like you're back in school again, because you're learning, we were saying, with the wealth of knowledge that we have with Philip and Michael and Anne and Emma, it's just like, oh God, I didn't think about that, and I didn't think, you know, and it's lovely constantly being questioned every day. As much as you go in going, I love Shakespeare and I love this, and I'm confident that I have an understanding of this, but then to have these outside, they're just so knowledgeable, and it's beautiful. It's just adding so much depth and wealth to the whole process, which is gorgeous.
What's your favourite moment in the show? Standout moment for you, for your character.
For my character? Oh, see, Lady Capulet, she's a bit headstrong, isn't she? She's a bit cold. She's a bit,
She's a powerhouse.
She is a powerhouse,
and she's business minded, and her motivation really is her fashion house and getting this up and success.
Yeah.
Where Montague's the same, but she's more she'd be more a warmer person. She'd be a very hands-on mum to Romeo. You know, this is
our interpretations of it, obviously.
You know.
You're more maternal than I would be.
Definitely more maternal than
the old cold one over here.
Than Capulet, you know, but Which gives it another bit of conflict, you know, which makes it a lot more interesting, I think, as
It's
well, in the
lovely.
playing of us.
In the adaptation of this as well, so Lady Capulet has been given a lot of Lord Capulet's lines, which was originally all your lines. So she's taken to be more the powerhouse and more, I'm the one that says everything. But then in doing that, as we were chatting to Philip, it also portrays the gentleness of the father. Like I've seen Romeo and Juliet before online and stuff, that he's played really, really, really harsh.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to see that the father actually has this gorgeous
Empathy,
bond with the
uh-huh.
daughter, and it's the mum going, nah, whatever, and he's actually the one that she attaches onto more. So it's it gives a really nice dynamic to it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
never really been seen before.
And it's the same as
which is
Montague as
gorgeous.
well. She actually dies in the play after Romeo's banished. So, and it's normally Lord Montague would take, so she's taken all that. And it's lovely seeing the women, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of,
Being pushed to the forefront
it's very
more.
modern, you know,
Yes,
in a sense
It's
where
it's a reflection on,
it's a
on modern
matriarch,
society.
you know,
Yeah.
moment, and it's an interesting way of looking at it, but it does not change the text or the story in any way whatsoever. You know, I think it just adds to it, I suppose.
Yeah, it does.
Brilliant. I can't wait. You open on the 4th of February and it runs right through until the 5th of March. Pretty long run, but hey, it's a big show.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it is, and we were talking about different layers, but every department, everybody that works in the lyric, you know, works so hard and puts so much into it, and it is a real pleasure to be an actor and working on that stage, and it's gonna be the set is gonna be gorgeous. The costumes are phenomenal, and it's just, again, it just adds those lovely layers right onto this, and we really believe it's going to be a spectacular show, you know.
Especially with every actor in it too. That's almost like they've been handpicked in a way.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, what each individual actor has brought to it is just, you're like, wow, you know, just beautiful. So, safe room, great room.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
in.
very
Thanks,
much.
Thanks, Rob.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Now we're moving on to talk about the health implications of our New Year's resolutions. And a new year calls for new measures as supporting immunity tops our list of resolutions. To talk about this further, I'm pleased to say that Strictly superstar Giovanni Pernice and Dr. Jenna Macchiocci join us now on the line. Guys, thank you for joining us. Now, Giovanni, just before we came on air there, you were doing a very good Northern Ireland accent.
Top of the morning to you.
And of course, you can test it out because you're coming to Belfast later this year, aren't you?
I am and I can't wait. Belfast is one of my favorite places ever to perform. I was sent to the doctor from Scotland and Ireland and Northern Ireland, the most fantastic place to perform. You know, because I do challenge my Irish accent when I'm in Belfast, especially.
So we'll talk about your tour in just a minute, but we have to talk about keeping ourselves fit and healthy this year, and in particular our immune system. So I want to start with you, Dr. Jenna. Things are pretty positive. 86% of us intend to pursue at least one activity with the aim on promoting a healthy immune system. So we're off to a good start, aren't we?
That's music to my ears. I'm so happy to hear that.
So what else have we learned from the research from Actimel then?
Yeah, it turns out quite a few of us think that we have to turn to really extreme measures. People have quoted things like, you know, a daily ice bath, colonic irrigation, or even going and being around sick people as ways to try and improve their immune system. But luckily, we don't have to do those extreme measures because scientifically we know that it's all about those little daily habits. And this is going to be one of the best ways that you can keep yourself well this winter and beyond.
So I'm glad we don't have to take the cold baths, but vitamin D, that's a big thing, isn't it?
Oh, yes, definitely. And especially at this time of year, it's a real risk that most of us will be deficient by December because we really haven't seen enough sun since September. So things like topping off your morning routine with something like Actimel, which is packed with vitamin D, is a really, really important way to make sure you've got those daily habits to support your immune system.
Now, Giovanni, you're on a mission to get us all moving from first thing in the morning when we get up to when we actually leave the house to go to work. And you've put together some pretty special moves, haven't you?
Absolutely. Is and the doctor next to me is teaching me that if you move, really can boost your immune system. So doing this campaign called Move for Immovity really helps you to immune your boost system. And the most important thing is the fact that it doesn't have to be anything difficult, really. It's small really movements that can help you to move your body. So it's very important.
So this starts right from the minute you wake up in the morning, and there is such a thing called the pillow body pop, isn't there?
I do, and I can't wait, Robin, to see you doing that. I mean, to see all the rest. You need, you should go to my Instagram page or to the website, which is actimed.co.uk, and you can see all of them. You can see all the movement. They're quite simple but very effective.
Now, the one I like the most has to be the toothbrush tango.
You know.
So that's the one I'm going to be doing. So you can check these out on the website. And obviously, Giovanni, you've got a big tour coming up very shortly. So obviously it's important to keep healthy and keep your immune system healthy as well.
It's quite difficult to keep it up because obviously I'm always on the go. But what I try to do is really keeping healthy in a way of eating properly, eating healthy food, try to get some good night's sleep if I can, keep hydrated, and boost your immune system with vitamin D, because it's the most thing that we need, really. But if you get poorly, you need to go. Personally, I just have to push you through, because I can't just say to people, well, listen, tonight I'm not going to perform because I got a fever or anything. I can't do that. So I'll push you through with adrenaline. But it's better to do it before than get sick and then doing do all the things. But the doctor is the expert, so she can tell you that.
So would you go for some of the more extreme measures, like having a cold bath or something like that?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Now, I see also on the list of extreme measures, having sex is a big one, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, I didn't know that.
Maybe people are just looking for an excuse to have more sex.
Exactly. You go to your partner and say, listen, my immune system is quite low. We need to improve it.
So Giovanni, tell us about the tour. It's called Made in Italy. It comes to Belfast's Waterfront Hall on the 19th of March, I think it is. What can we expect from the tour this year then?
You can expect everything and more about this tour. I'm bringing my Italian culture to my new home, which is the UK. And what I'm trying to do is show the people the real Italian culture, because lots of people know when it comes to Italian culture, only this, spaghetti carbonara. That's what you guys know, and pretty much. But I'm really gonna bring everything down. I'm gonna show you what really Italian means, and and what English and UK and they go as a positive as well. So it's not all bad, and Italian is all good. It's gonna be a combination between the two of them.
And are you going to have all your backing dancers with you as well?
I've got 10 amazing people working with me. We are in rehearsals at the moment, and I can tell you that the show is going to be fun.
And I also hear that you might be singing in the show.
Yes, I did sing last year, and it went down very well. And I was singing the Bocelli song, The Prayer. So the choreographer and director come again this year, and had the fantastic idea to perform Nessun Dorma.
If you're going to choose a big opera number, that has to be the one.
Don't worry, I'm taking some lessons, so people watching me just come. It's going to be lovely.
Now, Dr. Jenna, before we go, any more tips to keep our immune system healthy?
Yeah, don't get caught up in the January extreme New Year's resolution stuff. Really just keep it simple and sprinkle those little daily habits through your week. So getting the movement as you foxtrot to the fridge to get your healthy food, and top off your morning with your Actimel. And yeah, really keep it simple.
Giovanni, last time we saw you on our TV screens was the Christmas Strictly special. You were dancing with Nicola Roberts. Was she a good dance partner?
She was great. I mean, we did a fantastic job, I think. I mean, you can see that she got the moves. She can dance. So yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely. It was my first ever Christmas special, because obviously being the final most of the time, I didn't have time to do a Christmas special. But this time I did it, and I was happy to be dancing with Nicola. Great dancer, great person as well.
And I think you've done something like 8 years on Strictly, haven't you?
Too long, isn't it?
Do you think so?
Every year doesn't really feel like it's too long because you just go there and enjoy your time. And every year is a different story, different partner, different story. It's like resetting every year. So when the people ask him, "Are you not tired to do this one again?" No, because he's basically reading a new completely book every year. So I would do it and until they want me.
Yeah, so Giovanni, any final tips to help with our immune systems then?
Keep moving.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Just keep moving, eat healthy, and listen to what Dr. Jenna said.
Guys, it's been lovely talking to both of you, and Giovanni, we'll see you back in Belfast at the Waterfront on the 19th of March. Thank you for joining us.
Top of the morning, I tell you.
Okay, time for some brand new music now, and here with his new single, Can I Go Back to Sleep? Here is Conleth Kane.
7 in the morning, I walk to your front door. I'm looking through your window, can't see you anymore. Seems a little different, something's not quite right. Everything starts fading, drifting out of sight. There's a light before my eyes. I start falling from the skies. A sharp breath, I'll wake up, I look out, the sun's up, and I realize it was only just a dream. And I lie back, my eyes wet, my cheeks stained, I forget, 'cause I realize it was only just a dream. Can I go back to sleep? I can't forget the feeling when I saw your face. I thought that you had left me, you went without a trace. I reached my hands to hold you, but I cannot feel your touch. You fade into the distance, I'm missing you so much. It's been a long
So there we go. That's the brand new single from Conleth Kane, and I'm pleased to say he joins us in the studio. How are you?
I'm really good, Robin. It's nice to be back over in Northern Ireland. It's always nice to get back on the soil and see people.
Good to see you here, because London's home now for you, isn't it?
London's home. This year marks 20 years from I went to London. I wouldn't say I'm a Londoner, but Ireland's always home.
Yeah, so 20 years in London.
20 years.
That's a long time, which makes me feel old, because I remember the first time I saw you, I think the first time I saw you was on Children in Need.
Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that. Children in Need. That was so long ago. That was 1999.
Yeah.
I was at school then. I won a competition. Do you remember they used to go around all the shopping centres?
Yes.
And have the singers.
Yes.
And yeah, I was picked to perform and I remember I'd been in my GCSE year at school, and the BBC calling and saying I was actually in a band at that point, and we got selected to go on and sing live on TV. So for about a week I was cool at school.
And what kind of band was it?
Oh, it was, we were a bit like Steps.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it definitely wasn't like McFly or anything. It was definitely a bit more like Steps.
And is there any photographic evidence of this band out there?
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. It's all, those are the days before iPhones and all that, so I think it's probably a good thing.
So the next thing I remember seeing you in was the Fame musical for RTE. You went and did, it was like a big reality show to find the cast of Fame, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was in 2010. Again, that was such a long time ago. And I think as performers, that was very much an era where reality TV was so huge. And at the time I was quite friendly with Rachel Tucker.
Yeah.
We had just done a recent acting contract together, and she had just done the Nancy show, I'd Do Anything, on BBC One.
Yes.
So I saw what happened with Rachel, and the Fame thing came along within a matter of 6 months after her experience on that show. So I went along and auditioned. I was very inspired by her journey and what it had done to her career. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think anything of it, to be honest. It was just another audition, but I was fascinated by the whole reality television process, and all I knew that I was getting further and further and further, and then before I know it, I'm in the final 6.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, it was really quite a weird time, because it's a lot of pressure performing to maybe 1 million people on live TV on RTE1 every Sunday night it was. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Would I do it again? I don't think so. I think I got my taste of it.
Yes.
And I think what I learned from that is that I very much like to be in control artistically and creatively. And in those shows, you don't necessarily get to sing what you want to sing or wear what you want to wear. And so therefore, if you get negative feedback, it's the audience at home don't know that you're not responsible for the outfit you're wearing or the song that you've just sung. So that side of it irritated me, but I made some really good friends out of it. And it's a memory I'll look back on very fondly.
We'll talk about the music in a second, but I want to talk about Casualty as well, because that was such a big, iconic TV show, and you ended up doing a year in Casualty, didn't you?
No, I wasn't a year. I did, I appeared in it. I got booked for 4 episodes, and then it got extended to like 11 episodes. But when you film that, it is over the course of 4 or 5 months. So I dipped in and out of it. It was a very small part. But it was quite iconic at the time, especially as a musical theatre actor. People are very quick to remind you that you're too big for TV. The acting's too big. When you're on stage, you're kind of never designed to be on television.
Yeah.
So I was really chuffed when I got that gig, especially because my mum was a big fan of the show. So and it is an iconic TV show. So I really enjoyed it. It was filmed down in Bristol, and it was just a very different side of performing. I enjoyed it.
So now it's all about the music.
Yes.
Which I suppose was a big risk in a way, to say goodbye to all those shows. You could have went on tour and did this or whatever, but just to focus on music without a big label or anything behind you was a big risk, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm an independent artist, and so I fund all my own music. I write all my own music. And I think there are pros and cons with being an independent artist, because obviously with the backing of a label, have a lot more money
Yes.
there that goes into, you know, radio pluggers, music videos, stylists, et cetera, et cetera. When you're funding your own music, I have 100% say. I look how I want to look. I sound how I want to sound. I'm 100% in control of my musical output. And you know, I had my first record that I put out went straight to #2 on the singer-songwriter charts on iTunes. And George Ezra was keeping me off the top spot. I was sandwiched in between George Ezra and Ed Sheeran.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I didn't even realise until I got a text from a friend. That's how naive I was about it all.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there were singer-songwriter charts. I didn't know there were pop charts, rock charts. I just thought you had the regular charts. So I nearly fell off my seat when I got the screenshot from my friend. And then I lingered there for a week. And that really propelled me into, it gave me faith in myself. But I've definitely navigated down a different musical journey. I've just recently collaborated with Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
Who, I was a big fan of their work originally because I'm a big Spice Girls fan. So they did a major remix for Melanie C, who I love.
And there is a Mel C song on the album as well, isn't there?
There is a Mel C song, yes. So I've done a cover on the album. I wanted to do a tribute to my favourite Spice Girl, and of course, I think it's one of the best pop tunes ever. I Turn to You.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Seventh Heaven have had great success with bands like Steps. They produced a few tracks on their Ultimate collection, which went to #1 last year. The Wanted, Jake Shears. So when I reached out to them to rework my song Proud, I had no idea that they would get back to me or respond, or even say yes, but they got back immediately and we were working together. That was kind of an online relationship during the pandemic. I was sending stuff over. I wasn't able to go into the studio and record, so they had to use old vocals to remix. This was all very much in lockdown. None of us were allowed to leave our houses. So then when that kind of did well on the club scene in London, I decided to make my latest record with them. So I went into the studio with them. We made a 5-track EP. And yeah, so that's been out since last summer, and I've been touring all over UK and Europe over the past few months, getting that out there.
It's already picking up lots of airplay, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually, funny enough, H from Steps,
who was on the show a little while back as well. One of my favourite guests, I have to say, of all time.
He was on this show?
He was on this show, yes.
Was he actually? Oh no, he is just brilliant. He has been a real champion of not just my music, but independent artists across the board. H brings on a few independent artists every Friday night to his show. And I was very lucky that, you know, him and his team, producing team, heard Can I Go Back to Sleep, and they felt it was, you know, worthy of a play on BBC Radio Wales, and it's had a few plays from what I understand. I'm very pleased that Stuart Robinson over here at Cool FM, who's a huge supporter of local talent and local musicians, he's given me, he loves the song, and he's putting it on Cool FM, which is a big station over here, so I'm really chuffed.
Excellent, okay. Any plans to come back here and do some gigs?
I would love to come back and do some gigs. You know, it's been a bit of a tricky year personally with, we've had an illness in the family. My mother's been really unwell. So to kind of juggle my professional life and what was going on in the background, I personally found really hard, especially coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, my head was all over the place anyway. And then the avalanche of the terrible news about Mummy kind of slapped me around the face.
But she is on the mend, I believe, is she?
Mummy is on the mend, thank goodness, and our prayers have been answered. And so I found it really, really hard to concentrate on professional stuff when that baggage was lingering in the background. I found it really difficult. And now that Mummy is in a better place, I'm able to put myself back in the driver's seat of my creative career and get that going again. And I'm really pleased that things are looking bright and things are looking well again.
And are you still doing the yoga every day?
Yes, so that's another thing. So I trained to be a Bikram yoga teacher.
Wow.
A few months back.
Because the last time we spoke, you were telling me all about it, how you were doing it every day and stuff. So that's a big step to take as well.
It's a huge step. During the pandemic, I decided to, just when all of my, you know, gigs and opportunities and everything kind of just evaporated, and it was an opportunity for me to sit and think, and I decided to extend my professional life into another big passion of mine, which is Bikram yoga. It's something that helps me mentally, physically, and so now I invested in the course. I did it, and I had a great time, and I'm qualified to teach it. It's a box ticked for me, and I'm really glad that I now understand the practice a lot more and that I'm able to teach it, when those opportunities come along.
Excellent. Okay, we'll finish off with another one of your songs now. You mentioned the song Proud.
Yeah.
But we're going to play a very special version that you re-recorded, didn't you?
Yes, so I collaborated last year with the London Gay Men's Chorus, which is the biggest LGBT choir in Europe, and the artistic director is a big fan of the song, and I got booked to do their Proud concert in 2020. That fell through. 2021, that fell through. So I wanted to get creative of how we could do something together. So I invited them to come and sing on the record. So it's a massive take on the song. The song for me was always quite anthemic anyway. Even as an acoustic standalone record, the message is so strong. But now that you layer it with the Seventh Heaven production and the London Gay Men's Chorus, it's massive. It reminds me of Pet Shop Boys, Go West.
Yes.
It's got that vibe, and I'm really proud of it.
We'll hear it now. Conleth, great to see you as always. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to see you too, Robin.
Thank you.
I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I see. When I look in the mirror, I see me. I'm proud of what I say. I'm proud of being me. 'Cause when I look in the mirror, I feel free. What you think of me, I don't care anymore, no, I've got my liberty, 'cause I'm proud, and I will sing it loud. I don't care anymore, no, 'cause I'm me. What you think of me? What you think of me? I don't care anymore, no. I've got my liberty, yeah. 'Cause I'm proud, I am proud, and I will I'll sing it loud. I don't care anymore, no. 'Cause I'm me, oh, 'cause I'm me. I don't care anymore. Because I'm me.
So that's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.